We are dedicating our building, the Tsiyon Tabernacle, and interviewing some of the folks that had a hand in building this building. And I have sitting next to me a very dear friend who is involved in Tsiyon and has been involved in the building, my friend Brian. And we want to welcome you, Brian.
Thank you, Eliyahu. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Now, you came from a long ways away, and your shirt would indicate that you came from where?
My shirt would indicate Wales.
Right, but you didn't actually come from Wales, did you?
No, I did not. I came from Guangzhou, China.
China.
Yes.
So you came all the way from China to be here for the dedication of this building.
Yes, sir, I did.
That's a long way.
It's a little bit of a ride, yeah.
Now, I want to find out more about why you would come so far to be here for this event. But I think first we want to get to know you a little bit better before you explain that. We have this picture, and I think we can recognize your face. You look like you are the cat that just swallowed the mouse in this picture. And then there's that gal in behind.
Yes.
And you seem to be kind of walking away from her. What is this picture telling us about?
In essence, just like the caption says, my wife, Ginny, was unable to come here to the dedication due to the fact that she's a teacher.
Right.
She was unable to take off from work to be able to come down here. But that's why I'm here representing my family, which is my wife,
right,
to be a part of this, because I know this is a very, very pivotal and important time. And I mean, this is just huge with the dedication of the tabernacle and with what Yahweh's doing. I just felt very moved that I needed to be here, even though it meant leaving my wife behind for a week. But
well, I'll tell you, when we heard the news that you were going to be with us, it just knocked me over, because really China's a long ways away, and you and Ginny hadn't moved there that long ago. So, I just didn't think it would be possible for you to come, and obviously it's a special effort that you and Ginny have made for this to happen. Ginny, we're crying that you couldn't be here.
Yeah.
But we're so glad that Brian could be here. Well, I think maybe before we go to the next slide, we ought to talk about China a little bit, in the sense that what is a Yankee boy like you doing over in the other side of the world?
Well, that's actually a really, really very interesting story. I've known Ginny for quite a while now. We've been together for a little over 2 years, and spent a long time, just to kind of summarize, spent a long time trying to get her here into the United States. That fell through. She ended up actually getting a job over in China, working for a school over there. And Yahweh used that to finally bring us together after 2 long years. And that's pretty much how I ended up over there. It was a long, crazy road, but it's been really exciting, and I wouldn't trade it for anything to finally be with my wife.
Now, I heard that you're training to teach English over in China.
Yes, sir, I am. Actually, as a matter of fact, when I head back over there in a couple days, I'll actually be getting with the principal that my wife works for, and we'll be sitting down and talking about him getting me set up in one of their affiliated schools over there to start teaching English.
Sounds like a great opportunity where Yahweh could bring remnant people.
Oh, yes.
Just a little thought in my head.
Yeah. And, I'm sorry. Just as a little side note, I would like to just mention a lot of people probably don't realize that from what I've actually seen and heard from people that live over there, there actually is a fairly large Jewish congregation in China. And actually in the city that I live in, there's supposedly a couple thousand.
Yes.
So I'm, who knows, maybe Yahweh will allow me somehow, some way to get a hold of them, and I'm sure there's probably some remnant people in that group somewhere.
I have no doubt. I visited with a congregation of folks in Singapore who were of Chinese extraction, and they have a very, very strong Israelite tradition. and they recognize that they're Israelites. So that may seem strange to some people, that are hearing this, but realize the scriptures tell us that Israel would be scattered to every corner of the world. And so the stereotypes we have in our head of what Israelites look like, really, we need to do away with that, because having been scattered to every part of the world, they may be Asian, they may be African, they may be American, they may be from the Middle East, they may be from any part of the world. And wherever they are, wherever you are, we're looking for you.
Yeah.
Dial in, call home.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to our next slide here, and of course, this is your lovely wife that we see in the corner of this slide, Ginny.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting on top of a giant telephone. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. The reason for this slide is, as you can probably see here on the slide itself, is that my wife had a big, massive part in getting together the Facebook page, as well as she also developed the Tsiyon Road app for the cell phones. She spent a lot of time, dedicated a lot of time and effort towards that, and just did a tremendous job, never having done it before.
Yes.
And just really just kind of having to look online, figure out, how to put the coding in to get everything so you can accept the streams, and adding all the different links and everything. And it was a huge effort that she really managed to do in a very short amount of time, and has been a pivotal part in, spreading out Tsiyon Road to all over the place.
And of course, Tsiyon Road is our Tsiyon radio station, 24/7, 365. It's always playing.
Yep.
And you can get the app free. Doing a little plug for Ginny's app here. If you have Kindle, get it at Amazon, or if not, you can get it at Google Play, or stop by our website, tsiyon.org, and that'll tell you more about it, and you can get it there. But if you have our app, then you can listen to our radio station anytime you want to on your cell phone or other device. And Ginny did that. Thank you, Ginny, once again. And we have people all over the world that have our app and listen to our radio station as a result of this work that Ginny did. Now, Facebook, I got to tell you the truth, I hate Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I personally don't go on it. I don't even know how to go on it, which is why I need Ginny.
Right.
Because Ginny set up a Facebook page for Tsiyon, and she sent us some information about our Facebook page, that we've got almost 10,000 likes on our Facebook page, which isn't bad unfortunately, I've never been there. Because you have to have a Facebook page to sign up on or something. I mean, I just don't really do that. But anyhow, some of the statistics that she sent are interesting, that 77% of the fans on Facebook of Tsiyon are men.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty major thing. Now, it's not that we don't like women, but it's in most ministries are predominantly women that are interested.
Yeah.
So it is very noteworthy that there's so many men that seem to be interested in the ministry. So
Yeah, no, Ginny and I were really shocked when I was there when she was looking up the information.
And we have a number of countries listed, and I ran out of space there.
Yeah.
But an interesting thing is that there are a lot more of these fans that are in other countries than in the United States.
Yeah.
So this is a big impact, what Ginny has done with between the app and the Facebook page. It's kind of spread us into areas that otherwise we wouldn't be, and so that's just hugely important. And like with some of our other volunteers, Ginny just knew that she was able to do something that other people couldn't do, and so she stepped forward to do it and has accomplished a great deal because of it.
She really has.
And also we have on here the logo of our online Tsiyon Tabernacle,
Mhm.
where people can become online members.
Yep.
And Ginny has done a lot of work to help us on that website as well as one of our webmasters. So we really, really appreciate all that Ginny has done. And since she can't be here to tell us about it, we want to tell everybody, right?
Oh yes, yeah. I definitely don't want to leave her out because she has had a tremendous impact on in many different areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in this, and it's really been awesome what she's done, and I know you all greatly appreciate it.
Oh, greatly.
And I'm just really thankful to Yahweh that He gave me such an awesome wife that's capable of doing this and
It's
has
true.
such a heart for Yahweh
Right.
and the ministry.
I have a really smart wife, and I know Ginny's really smart.
Yeah.
And has degrees, and I mean, they didn't hire her all the way in China because she's dumb, right?
Right. No.
And it's really a wonderful thing when a person who's smart like that wants to use that in such a way as to bring Yahweh to people and to bless people. And I've so enjoyed that about Ginny. Now, here's my next slide.
Okay.
Does that look familiar at all?
That does. Yes. That is my wedding day.
Yeah, that's your wedding day. And, Brian lived here before he lived in China. And we had a lot of good times together
We did.
and with our family. And that was really such a special day. And Ginny came all the way here.
Mm-hmm.
And you were explaining this a little bit, but the plan originally was for Ginny and Brian to serve here at Tsiyon. But they just couldn't get a visa for Ginny.
Yeah. No. It was.
And, just looking at her picture, you can see why they wouldn't want her, right?
Oh yeah. No. She's obviously not fit for America. No.
I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It went
really
on
is.
like for months and years,
Yeah.
and she couldn't get into this country.
Yeah.
And I believe it's because of this China thing. Because just as soon as you guys decided to change tracks and you decided, well, we're going to do this, and this whole China opportunity opened up and everything started moving ahead for you.
Yeah.
So I believe he wanted to place you there as really key people in that area of the world in order to be able to reach out to the remnant there. And so while we have some regrets about the two of you not being here,
Right.
we know that his plan is best.
Yeah. No, I would just like to say really quick, like I said, Jim and I were, struggling with this American visa for 2 years. And, we finally just really got fed up. We were really tired. We just wanted to be together, and so Ginny started looking online. She's like, do you think, it would be okay to start looking for schools out there in the world?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, just go for it. And she found a couple spots in China, and she's like, do you want me to apply? And I was like, yes, just do it. And she started applying, and the doors just flew open.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Ginny said, I don't feel good about this. I was like, why? She's like, because it's working too well.
Yes.
And I was just like, don't worry. I was like, I feel really strongly that Yahweh's doing this.
It's like you got too used to rejection. Right?
Yeah, we were so used to having to just pound and pound for everything, and for once when obviously Yahweh was really on our side on this, and this was where we were supposed to be and go. That like I said, everything just opened up, and there were no hiccups at all.
Yeah.
Through the whole process, we went from getting frustrated with America and getting here to about 2.5 months later, I was on a plane heading to China.
It was amazing.
And
it just goes to show, though, that Yahweh's ways are higher than our ways. And we may sometimes think in our head that our life should go a certain way. But when we surrender ourselves to Him, we may find ourselves in China. I mean, things may be incredibly different than what we think, and yet it leads to tremendous happiness. Because I know you're really happy there, aren't you?
I am very much so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, being with your wife after 2 years might have something to do with
That definitely helps. Yes.
it. Okay, now we're going to get back to earth here,
Okay.
literally.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at is some of our property a few months after the fire that came through in September of 2011. And what was amazing is, like, after the fire, everything was ashes. But a short time later, we had all this brush and all this stuff that grew up so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of looked like that, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, what were we going to do about all that?
Well, that was definitely the tricky part. Like you said, the fires had just happened. There was a lot of just mess all over the property. A lot of just downed trees, dead trees that were still standing.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like you said, after some time went by, some of the ash got cleared out, but then you had all the brush and everything coming up. And of course, you still had a plan. You knew that you're supposed to do something with this property. You're supposed to have a building here for Yahweh's people, and so that's when we started just the basics, just clearing out the land.
Yeah.
Getting the brush taken out. Burning that down. So taking care of the land, getting it cleaned up.
Yeah. Gary came down. He did a lot.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that you helped us with here. And it was very important part, making the way for the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have some other slides. Remember any of that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, fondly. Yeah, lots. Like I said a moment ago, we lived in the middle of a forest, and, so many beautiful trees that got burnt up that had either fallen or were, still standing. So it was our job to, chop down the ones that were still up that we just weren't able to keep. And the ones that were down, cut them into smaller pieces and, either get rid of them or put them aside for firewood, whatever, whatever the condition was. It was a very long, hard road, lots of trees, lots of hard work that needed to be done. Wasn't just me. Jake and Judah, everybody really had a hand in that. There was just too many trees for just a couple people.
Oh, a lot of trees.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I didn't really know about what happens when there's a fire until we went through one.
Yeah.
And one thing that's interesting, because what you think in your head is when there's a fire, everything is burned to ashes, and so all the trees are burned up and all of that. But that's not how it is. You have these trees that are still standing, and you look at them and you think, well, maybe they're going to come back to life.
Right.
And then one day they'll just fall over on your house or something.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do with those trees, because while they look okay to you, they're not okay.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of those trees because they're dangerous.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of work to get rid of all of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you helped us with chopping down some of those trees and chopping up some of those.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big job. Well, then finally we did move on to building our building. And these are some of the pictures that we have of you. We had kind of a dearth of pictures in a way because everybody's so busy working, nobody's thinking of taking pictures, right?
Yeah.
But this was really such an important job that we're looking at here. And could you explain to us what this is about?
Yeah. Well, this was, I would say, fairly early on during the process. We had to erect the pillars, which I'm not sure how the people that are on the other end of the camera can see, if they can see them, but they're really,
Can't.
unfortunately, that's really a shame, but they're really beautiful looking pillars now. But on the pictures here, they're really just basic metal rods in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
but we had to get them up to help support the roof, and a very pivotal part. The pillars were very important in Scripture and the tabernacle, and so it was a great honor for me to be able to assist in that. Again, hard work, wasn't easy. A lot of heavy rods and steel beams and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those beams are heavy.
Yeah, but as you can see, we got like a little like horse essentially, for putting the rods up, and that was a really awesome contraption that you guys had put together. That really made the job much easier.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was really an honor to be able to help and participate in that. And I just, looking back on it now, I really wish that there was more that I could have done. You know,
Well, you are strong like bull. And when we needed someone who was really strong to help us on this job, you were there, and we really appreciate it. And now those pillars are holding up this building so that we can talk to everybody.
Yeah.
So we appreciate what you did there.
Definitely.
Well, then we have this one.
Yep, the big fence around the property.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, again, before the fire, there was a beautiful wooden fence all along the perimeter. And, unfortunately, it's a wood fence. It got vaporized.
Yeah.
So, after some time, we just, you decide that you got to have a fence.
Right.
So, started getting wood from anywhere we could, and we started putting the fence up. And I was there to help with that. Jake and Judah were also there. We were all working together to get the fence up, and I think we did a decent job considering the supplies we had. And
Well, one thing I've noticed is the fence is still there.
it's still there.
So that's really good. Yeah.
I'd say we did a solid job.
Yeah. Yeah, and Gary helped to keep it there, too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of work went into making things suitable for this tabernacle and being able to build it.
Mm-hmm.
And we really appreciate the work that you put into it along with others.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it's looking different now than it did back then.
Oh, yeah.
And here's a picture of what it looked like recently.
Mm-hmm.
And in the future, when you look at this picture, you'll see our sign on there. But you see, we haven't put it up yet because we're going to put that up after we dedicate the building. That's
Sweet.
going to be our final act of crowning our building with our sign.
Awesome.
So that's kind of exciting, huh?
Very awesome. Yeah.
But what do you think when you look at the building? Really, I've seen a lot of churches that look a lot better than this. What do you think?
Well, yeah, but you know what? This is a building for Yahweh, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
That this is a place that Yahweh comes down and sits here and is with us. I know He's right here now with us.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter, how many millions of dollars are plugged into a building. If Yahweh's not there, it may as well be a shack.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it's a mobile home. But you know what? It's a mobile home that Yahweh comes and visits.
That's
And
right.
that's good enough for me.
Well, that's why we call it a tabernacle, right?
Yeah.
A tabernacle is a portable building, and we don't want to get built in too solidly anywhere in this world, because we're going home in the second Exodus. So we wanted to build a building that would be very serviceable and that would honor Yahweh, and I think it's very beautiful in the building. But at the same time, not put any more resources into the building than necessary, because those resources need to go into gathering the remnant.
Yeah.
So this is why we have done things in a modest way, and yet very adequately. And, as you look at this building, the one thing that you'll see about this, and there's no building that is superior to this building in this point, and that is the amount of love that's gone into this building for Him.
Yeah.
It's all been built from the love of His people, right?
Yeah.
Including you.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's special about the building and His presence with us.
Mm-hmm. One last thing I would like to add. I just want to just mention really quick. My uncle wasn't able to be here, my Uncle Tony.
Oh, we have more. But why don't you tell us about it and your role in it?
Yeah, definitely. I really wanted to just, mention him because, he came down here, didn't really have a whole lot of money, really went on faith from Yahweh to come down here. And Yahweh provided, and he came down here. And my uncle's been a carpet layer pretty much all his life,
Yes.
30 plus years. And he came in here and took the carpet that you had had gotten a hold of that was really just kind of just pieces here and there. Wasn't perfectly cut out for the area that we had, but thankfully with the experience of my uncle,
Yes.
he managed to piece this together. And honestly, looking down at it, you can't tell that it was, it was ribbons at one time.
It's true. I mean, what happened on that is we had a period in time where we were buying a whole bunch of things, anything that we could find, in order to put together what was necessary to have a serviceable and beautiful building. And I found a house where it was a new house that they had built, and the people that bought the house decided that instead of having carpeting, they wanted to have a different kind of floor. So it had never really been used, this carpeting, even though it was installed in the house. Yeah. And Tony really was the one that Yahweh had in mind to do that carpeting.
He did a phenomenal job, and I really just wanted to bring him into this since he wasn't able to be here.
By all means, he was a very important part of this project in a very big way. When you look at that carpet, you don't see a seam. And what I see when I see the carpet is I see an illustration for us of what Yahweh is doing with his scattered remnant. That we, like carpet remnants, are bits and pieces scattered all over the world, and he's bringing us together, and kind of like Tony, he kind of sees in his head how we go together, and he puts us all together so there's not a seam, and we are in unity and oneness together.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful picture, watching Tony do that work, because I could just see that in my head, as he was working. And he put so much of himself into the building, and we so appreciate Tony and the heart that he has for Yahweh. Yeah. And I'm glad you were able to help him too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I with that didn't do a whole lot. I was really out of my element there, but when he told me to grab something, put this down, hold this there, I was there for him and helping him out as best I could. But for the people that are here that can see, and for anyone that may at some point come and see this, you will see the beautiful job that my uncle did, and I'm just really proud of him.
It's so interesting about this building because at a certain point in time, every single job was the most important job. And it's kind of an amazing thing how that works. It makes me so grateful, to feel so grateful for Yahweh's people that he sent here to do all these different things. And I don't know of any building that was ever built like this building in the way that this has happened. It was truly an amazing thing to see this happen. Yeah. And I'm so glad, Brian, that you could be a part of it, and that you would feel moved to come here all the way from China in order to be sitting here right now and to be a part of this dedication. And could you explain that to us?
Yeah. It was only a few weeks ago. I was sitting on the couch. My wife was on the phone talking to some other people in the remnant, and I was reading your newsletter, and it was the first newsletter I had read that had the dedication, and I was like, I just got this overwhelming feeling. I just knew that I was like, I have to be there, I have to go. I don't know how, but I knew I had to be here. And so Jenny got off the phone, and I told her immediately. I just couldn't wait. I was just like, I have to go. I have to,
Wow.
I don't know how I'm really going to be able to do this. We don't have a whole lot of money right now, but I was like, I need to be there. Not just because I helped, but because I really felt that I needed to really step up and show Yahweh that, I'm willing to do what you want me to do. And, I've made some mistakes in my past, but I really am doing my absolute best to turn around. And I wanted to really show this to Yahweh that, I'm willing to go halfway around the world to do what you want me to do.
Wow.
And, I had to go through some fear. The enemy came against me and really scared me for about a week before I came.
Wow.
And I was afraid, the plane's going to go down. And I've made this flight before. I've gone international flying before. I've never been scared. And my wife was actually the one that shook me out of it. And she was just like, Brian, what's wrong with you? You're not afraid of flying. It's just the enemy. Snap out of it.
Yeah, it sounds like Ginny.
And and once she did that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And so I came here, and obviously I made it just fine.
Yeah.
But no, I had to do this for Yahweh, and that's my story about that.
A lot of times when we have events here, people will talk about how far they came from, and sort of whoever came the farthest kind of wins. I don't know what they win, but they kind of win. And, coming all the way from China, you get the prize.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Very good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You have been listening to interviews that were recorded live at the Tsiyon Tabernacle dedication service. Because of the immense size of this complete presentation, we cannot include all of this fabulous content online. However, it is available in a 7 DVD set, which includes almost 10 hours of Tsiyon Tabernacle dedication interviews and the dedication service itself. Also included is a 1-hour Shmita Year 2015 presentation discussing where we are on Yahweh's great time clock. As a special bonus, we are including our 2-hour Passover 2015 video. This DVD set includes a total of well over 12 hours of encouraging, enlightening, and entertaining materials. This set is a great introduction to the Tsiyon family and the Tsiyon mission. Please make your offering check to Tsiyon, Tsiyon. Don't forget to include your name and shipping address, along with your request for the Tsiyon Tabernacle Dedication 7 DVD set. On behalf of Eliyahu ben David, myself, and the entire Tsiyon team, Shalom.
And you and Ginny hadn't moved there that long ago. So, I just didn't think it would be possible for you to come, and obviously it's a special effort that you and Ginny have made for this to happen. Ginny, we're crying that you couldn't be here.
Yeah.
But we're so glad that Brian could be here. Well, I think maybe before we go to the next slide, we ought to talk about China a little bit, in the sense that what is a Yankee boy like you doing over in the other side of the world?
Well, that's actually a really very interesting story. I've known Ginny for quite a while now. We've been together for a little over 2 years. And it's been a long time, just to kind of summarize, it's been a long time trying to get her here into the United States.
We are dedicating our building, the Tsiyon Tabernacle, and interviewing some of the folks that had a hand in building this building. And I have sitting next to me a very dear friend who is involved in Tsiyon and has been involved in the building, my friend Brian. And we want
that fell through. She ended up actually getting a job over in China, working for a school over there. And Yahweh used that to finally bring us together after 2 long years. And that's pretty much how I ended up over there. It was a long, crazy road, but it's been really exciting. And I wouldn't trade it for anything to finally be with my wife.
Now, I heard that you're training to teach English over in China.
Yes, sir, I am. Actually, as a matter of fact, when I head back over there in a couple days, I'll actually be getting with the principal that my wife works for, and we'll be sitting down and talking about him getting me set up in one of their affiliated schools over there to start teaching English.
Sounds like a great opportunity where Yahweh could bring remnant people.
Oh, yes.
Just a little thought in my head.
Yeah. And, oh, I'm sorry. Just as a little side note, I would like to just mention a lot of people.
And then there's that gal in behind,
Yes.
and you seem to be kind of walking away from her. What is this picture telling us about?
In essence, just like the caption says, my wife, Ginny, was unable to come here to the dedication due to the fact that she's a teacher.
Right.
She was unable to take off from work to be able to come down here. But that's why I'm here representing my family, which is my wife,
Right.
to be a part of this, because I know this is a very, very pivotal and important time. And I mean, this is just huge with the dedication of the tabernacle and with what Yahweh's doing. I just felt very moved that I needed to be here, even though it meant leaving my wife behind for a week. But
Well, I'll tell you, when we heard the news that you were going to be with us, it just knocked me over because really, China's a long ways away. I want to welcome you, Brian.
thank you, Eliyahu. It's nice to be here. Thank you.
Now, you came from a long ways away, and your shirt would indicate that you came from where?
My shirt would indicate Wales.
Right, but you didn't actually come from Wales, did you?
No, I did not. I came from Guangzhou, China.
China.
Yes.
So you came all the way from China to be here for the dedication of this building.
Yes, sir, I did.
That's a long way.
It's a little bit of a ride, yeah.
Now, I want to find out more about why you would come so far to be here for this event. But I think first we want to get to know you a little bit better before you explain that. We have this picture, and I think we can recognize your face. You look like you are the cat that just swallowed the mouse in this picture.